solve using elimination. And we have the two linear equations here. The first one is 5x plus 8y equals 10. And the second one we have is 24y equals negative 15x minus 10. Okay, so we notice that for all four variables, right, they do not have a coefficient of 1. So using substitution may not be good here because we may end up with fractions, right? We can still deal with it, we can still do it, but it's best to avoid that. So elimination probably going to be a little bit easier. Now the first thing with elimination though is we have to get x and y on the same side. Okay? So the top equation is fine here, right? But here we notice that the negative 15x is on the right side, okay? So let's go ahead and we'll add it to both sides. So what do we end up with? We get 15x plus 24y equals negative 10. Right? Now the top equation is fine because we still have the 5x plus 8y equals positive 10. Now you notice by elimination, the whole goal is when we add these equations together, right, one of the variables should cancel out. Okay, so for example, we could add this right now if we wanted to. It won't do us any good, right, but we could. And you notice we get 20x plus 32y equals 0. But like I said, that's not going to do us any good because none of the variables have eliminated. So I noticed that, okay, if this is a positive 15x, right, the idea is, wait a minute, if this is a negative 15, I can add these together and eliminate the x, right? So because I already have a 15 here, I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 3. Okay? So notice I end up with negative 15x minus 24y equals negative 30. And the bottom equation, I don't need to change or adjust anything. So now I can add these together. Right? But something particular happens here, right? When we add these together, the x actually goes away, which is what we wanted to have happen. But actually, negative 24y plus 24y, that cancels out as well. We end up with a 0, right? 0 equals negative 40. So normally, we would end up with a y, and then we can solve for that y, right? But what does this mean here? Okay, this is called a contradiction, right? Obviously, 0 does not equal negative 40. So what does that mean, though, in terms of the original problem? Right, it means that there's going to be no solution. Okay, if you drew these two lines, they would never cross. Okay, they would be parallel lines. Remember, when we solve, that's what we're looking for. We are looking for the point of the ordered pair where these lines cross. But in this case, okay, there's going to be no solution. So you're supposed to identify that, right? If we end up with this type of situation at the end, two numbers that are not equal to each other, that's called a contradiction. And anytime we end up with the contradiction in the system of equations, right, that means that there's going to be no solution.